day. And now I think we understand why the word of the Lord spoken of by that unknown prophet was that he should be smitten. Because when we compare with Micah 5, here's the answer. Jesus is the judge who was smitten upon the cheek, but notice that Micaiah, here's another prophet who was smitten, was also smitten upon the cheek. Micah 5 verse 1, Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops, he hath laid siege against us, they shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. And the previous passage was 1Kings 20, whereas this is 1Kings 22 verse 44. But Zedekiah the son of Chenaanah went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek and said, Which way went the Spirit of the Lord from me to speak unto thee? So look at this. Micaiah was smitten on the cheek, and it was Micah the prophet who prophesied the Messiah will be smitten, the judge of Israel will be smitten, and this time with a rod upon the cheek. Micah reminds us of 2 Kings in the 11th book, 1 Kings, Omri and Ahab. So you see Micah chapter 6, verse 16, For the statutes of Omri are kept, and all the works of the house of Ahab, and you walk in their counsels, that I should make thee a desolation, and the inhabitants thereof an hissing. Therefore ye shall bear the reproach of my people. And looking at chapter 16, verse 16, And the people that were encamped heard say, Zimri hath conspired and hath also slain the king. Wherefore all Israel made Omri the captain of the host king over Israel that day in the camp. And Omri went up to Gibbethon, and all Israel with him, and they besieged Tirzah. Verse 21, Then were the people of Israel divided into 2 parts. Half of the people followed Tibni the son of Ginath to make him king, and half followed Omri. But the people that followed Omri prevailed against the people that followed Tibni the son of Ginath. So Tibni died and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa king of Judah began Omri to reign over Israel, and 12 years, 6 years reigned he in Tirzah. And verse 25, But Omri wrought evil in the eyes of the Lord, and did worse than all that were before him. Verse 27, Now the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and his might that he shewed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? Verse 28, So Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria, and Ahab his son reigned in his stead. Verse 29, And in the 38th year of Asa king of Judah began Ahab the son of Omri to reign over Israel, and Ahab the son of Omri reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. Verse 30, And Ahab the son of Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord above all that were before him. Verse 33, And Ahab made a grove, and Ahab did more to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him. let me read to you what I had written. Primarily, I look at the footnotes of a passage and see a huge selection, but my mind being set on the same spokes, books, and chapters, there might be verses, alphabetical verses, and numbers within the text which go unnoticed in the footnotes. These I ignore for now since the subject is already vast. Comparing Micah, which is the 11th book of the second cycle, and 1 Kings, which is the 11th book of the first cycle, both on the spoke 11 of the Biblewheel, cycle 1 and 2, you'll see how they are as hand and glove. Micah mentions the statutes of Ahab and Omri are kept. Where do you find Ahab and Omri? In 1 Kings, of course, like I mentioned to you before. Even though Micah lived much later in the times of kings, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, a contemporary with Isaiah, and right before King Manasseh. I think Manasseh was responsible for their deaths, as the streets of Jerusalem flowed with blood in his days, and that's when his prophecies came to pass, as the Assyrians carried Manasseh captive. Actually, in Hebrews chapter 11, the writer did mention that someone, at least one person, had been sawn asunder. And it doesn't mention who was sawn asunder, but traditionally it was thought that Isaiah was sawn asunder by King Manasseh, which King Manasseh later on was taken captive, and he repented, and God brought him back. Imagine that. But Micah's account is identical to the story of Ahab in 1 Kings. After highlighting she, I noticed how Jezebel and the prophecy of Micah 7 is identical. So Micah 7 verse 2, the good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net. Who is the good man that perished in 1 Kings? 1 Kings 21 verse 14, then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. Naboth refused to give the portion of his land to Ahab when Ahab asked for it, and Ahab was displeased, and Jezebel, his wife, said, I'm going to take care of that. And she set up false witnesses against Naboth, and they stoned them. Also within the 11th chapter of 2 Samuel, since we're comparing the 11th book 1 Kings and the 11th prophetic book Micah, just as Jezebel sent letters to execute Naboth, David sent letters to kill Uriah. 2 Samuel chapter 11 verse 21, who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in Thebes? Why went he nigh the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. In verse 24 it says, and the shooter shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Well, verse 21 was Joab saying David might say this, and when he says that, mention that thy servant the Hittite Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So that's what happened. So the next verses, Micah 7 verse 3, It says that they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a word, and the great man he uttereth his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up. Actually, this was what happened in 2 Samuel 11, because why was Uriah? Why did Uriah deserve to die? He didn't deserve to die. And David gave the command to Joab, and Joab did as he desired. He could have said no, but so Joab was considered to be the great man, or the captain. He uttereth his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up. So both David and Ahab were kings, princes, and wanted something that Uriah and Naboth, average men, had: a beautiful wife and a vineyard. And Micah 7:5, trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth shut from her that lieth in thy bosom. Man should know how to keep their mouth shut. Sometimes it might lead to something worse. So here it is. 1 Kings 21. 1 Kings is, of course, the 11th book compared to the 11th book of the second cycle, Micah 7. So 1 Kings 21 verse 5, but Jezebel his wife came to him and said unto him, why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto her, because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he said, I will not give thee my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, dost thou not govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So you see how wicked Jezebel was.